Hi everyone, welcome back. In the previous video, we talked a lot about continuous integration, continuous deployment, and DevOps in general, and it was mostly a theoretical one. So in this video, we're going to talk about Jenkins. What is Jenkins? If we go back to the previous video's presentation, we talked about with DevOps, there will be a tool that runs automated tests and automated builds, deploys, etc. So Jenkins is one such tool. That's the simplest explanation I can give about Jenkins. And I think it makes more sense to actually work with Jenkins and show you what it can do instead of just talk about all the great things about it. So Jenkins is a free and open source software that will help us with continuous integration and deployment and delivery. Enough with the theory. So I'm just gonna go ahead and launch a virtual machine using Vagrant where we can install Jenkins. So this is the location I am right now. Inside our repository, infrastructure, Vagrant, apps, and Jenkins. So this is the Vagrant file. There's nothing much complicated here. It's just, we're gonna give one GB of memory and assign a private network IP address. That's it. And obviously adding the SSH key. If you do not know what this means, I would suggest you go ahead and watch the video where we talk about Vagrant and launching a VM using Vagrant. So I'm just going to do Vagrant up. Alright, so the virtual machine is up and running. We can do Vagrant SSH and we should be able to log in. Yep. So we have the IP address of the VM and I'm going to exit out and I should be able to log in as Vagrant directly from anywhere in the machine. Yep. So I have the instructions written in here in this repository, which I will link. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to do the apt-get update, and then we need to install JDK because Jenkins is based on Java. So we need Java development kit installed. All right, so that's done. Next is we have to add the Jenkins GPG keys. Okay, so we need to install GPG. No PG. And we run the wget again. Okay, that's done. The next step would be to add the repository to the source.total list, which we just did, and just do sudo apt-get update and sudo apt-get install Jenkins-y. Alright, so that's done. So Jenkins is installed. The next thing that we need to do is we need to just start it, obviously. Let me just clear it. Start Jenkins. So if we do systemctl status, you can see that it is running. Yep. So we also need to make sure that Jenkins starts up on its own when the machine reboots. So we need to enable that. Systemctl enable Jenkins. The next thing that we need to do is we need to open up the IP address of the machine, and then the default port is 8080. So in our browser, so it's gonna ask us to copy this password. So let's just go back to the machine and do cat. Okay, we need sudo. So copy the password, paste it, and continue. So for now, we're just gonna install suggested plugins. All right, so it has installed all the basic plugins. So it's asking us to create our first admin user. I'm just gonna create username admin, and password 1234. Obviously use a strong password for a production environment, but this is just local, so it's fine. 1234. And email address would be right. Save and continue. So at this point we have to give the Jenkins URL itself, or the URL that we will use in the browser. In this case we're gonna just leave it as it is and save and finish, and that's it. We have successfully installed our Jenkins. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a simple pipeline. Once you log into Jenkins, you just click on the new item and a pipeline. Okay, I'm just going to name it first pipeline and choose this one and click OK. So now it's going to give a lot of options to configure. So don't worry about all of this. We're going to come to each of them when we get there. For now, what we are concerned about is this part, the pipeline part. So this is the part where we have to tell what this pipeline should do. So here they say try a sample pipeline. Okay, so we're just gonna use the hello world pipeline. Okay, that's pretty simple. So the syntax goes like this: pipeline, then agent any. So this agent means where should this pipeline run. So for this one, we're just gonna say agent any. This means run on any agent. So this agent means the machine, the actual machine this will run on. So in this case, we have a single VM where we have installed the Jenkins master, and that's gonna be the same VM where this will be running. And we're just gonna save. So as you can see, this is the now we are at this part. It's /job and first pipeline. So if you go to go back to the dashboard, you can see that the first pipeline here. So open it, and on the left side we can see there is an option called build now. So I'm just gonna go click that, and here you can see the status of it. So if you click on it, and if you click on the console output, you can see the actual output of the pipeline that it just ran. So it says running on Jenkins, which is our VM itself, and then it did the hello world, and the status is success, and that's it. It's as simple as that. Okay, obviously this is not very useful right now, but let's go ahead and see what else we can do about it, what else we can do with it. So I'm just gonna go and edit the pipeline again. So here we have a single stage that's saying hello world. So I'm just gonna edit it and say in this stage would be build. I'm just gonna copy the same thing again, and in the next one, let's just say test, and here we're gonna change it to building the software, testing the software, and finally deploy. Deploying the software. Okay, save. Anyway, so this is the modified pipeline. So what have we done? We have created 3 stages. So build, test, and deploy. And in all of these stages, the only thing that it's going to do is just echo or just print that it's doing this. Save it, and let's build it again. So that is done. So since it's just like a simple echo, it's going to be done like really quick. So if you go and check the console output, you can see that it says the first stage, that is the build stage, building the software, then testing the software, and deploying the software. Okay, that's a spelling mistake. Anyway, so this is as basic as it can get. So what exactly does it mean, or how exactly is it useful to us? So this is useful if we were to use it in a real scenario. We can actually use it to first build our software, and then if that succeeds, then we do run some tests onto that software itself, and then if that's also fine, then we can go ahead and deploy it. As we have talked about in the previous video, about continuous deployment. So if you come back to the Jenkins dashboard or the Jenkins homepage, you can see the status of the pipeline. So it says it's a success, and the weather is saying that it's all good, it's all sunny, and so yeah, our pipeline is working fine. So if you click on the pipeline and go to configure again, and if you come to this build trigger part, see, you can see there is like a bunch of options here. So an option to build it periodically, or we can build it as part of a GitHub hook. We can poll an SEM, and if there's any change, we can build it, etc. So this was like a basic introduction. So in the next video, we're gonna go ahead and create a pipeline end to end. So that's pretty much it for this video. See you in the next one.